Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Crowns of Legacy, Queens Who Shaped England. I'm your host, Lydia Hawthorne, and today we're turning the pages of history to meet the extraordinary women who wore England's crown. Imagine velvet robes flowing in grand halls, whispers of intrigue in shadowed courts, and the steady gaze of queens who turned challenges into triumphs. From fierce warriors in medieval battles to wise rulers who built empires, these 8 remarkable women, Matilda, Mary I, Elizabeth I, Anne, Victoria, and more, didn't just reign. They redefined a nation. Their stories mix courage, heartbreak, and hope, showing how strength can light even the darkest times. So, find a quiet spot, perhaps with a warm cup of tea, and join me as we honor their legacies. Let's step into the past, where queens' voices still echo today. In the misty vales of the 12th century, when England was a land of barons' feuds and forest whispers, our first queen emerges not from fairy tales, but from the forge of fire and family. Meet Matilda, born in 1102, daughter of King Henry I, a girl with royal blood from both Saxon kings and Norman conquerors running through her veins. Her mother, Matilda of Scotland, had been a queen herself, weaving peace between old Anglo-Saxon roots and the new Norman lords. But young Matilda's path would be thornier, a trail blazed through civil war and unyielding will. At just 8 years old, she was sent across the sea to Germany, betrothed to the Holy Roman Emperor Henry V, not as a pawn, but as a bridge of power. Crowned empress in Rome's Grand Street, Peter's Basilica, in 1111, she learned the weight of a crown young, ruling as regent in Italy while her husband waged wars, her sharp mind negotiating treaties and commanding courts with a grace that belied her youth. But tragedy struck like a winter gale. Henry died in 1125, leaving her widowed at 23, childless, and heir to her father's throne across the Channel. Henry I, ever the strategist, recalled her to England, making barons swear oaths to her as his successor oaths sworn 3 times, as if to bind fate itself. She was no fragile flower. She rode like a knight, spoke like a scholar, and dreamed of a realm where a woman's word was law. Yet, when Henry I died in 1135, whispers turned to roars. His nephew, Stephen of Blois, slipped across from France like a shadow, seizing the crown with promises and a swift coronation, claiming a deathbed change of heart from his uncle. Betrayal stung like salt in a wound, for those barons' oaths crumbled like dry leaves. England plunged into the anarchy, a civil war where castles burned, roads grew wild, and the people cried, "Christ and his saints sleep." Matilda, now styled Lady of the English, refused to fade. With her half-brother Robert, Earl of Gloucester, at her side a bastard son of Henry, but loyal as forged steel, she landed in England in 1139, her banners snapping in the salt wind. They captured Stephen at the Battle of Lincoln in 1141, a clash of iron and ice where Matilda's forces triumphed, parading the king like a trophy through cheering streets. For a breathless moment, she stood on the cusp of coronation in Winchester, the clergy declaring her ruler, her heart pounding with the weight of what could be. England's first queen regnant, a woman to shatter the glass of tradition. But oh, the turn of fortune's wheel, London's crowds, weary of war and taxes, rose against her arrogance, pelting her entourage with filth and fury, forcing a desperate flight to Oxford under cover of night. She never wore the crown, but her fight endured, a siege here, an alliance there, her son Henry growing in her shadow to claim what she could not. In 1153, the Treaty of Wallingford ended the chaos. Stephen agreeing Henry would succeed him, no victory parade for Matilda, but a legacy etched in stone. The Plantagenet dynasty, England's Angevin Empire, born from her unbowed spirit. She died in 1167, not in glory's blaze, but in quiet Normandy, her final years advising her son with the wisdom of one who had stared down kings. Matilda's story? A low hum of resilience, reminding us that crowns are won not just in halls, but in the heart's fierce beat. And as her echo fades into the mists of medieval memory, another Matilda steps forward, not empress, but consort, whose quiet strength would steady a storm-tossed realm. This Matilda of Boulogne, born around 1103, was no stranger to power's edge, daughter of Count Eustace III and Mary of Scotland, sister to future kings and queens. She wed Stephen in 1125, a match of strategy and spark. Her dowry lands knitting Normandy to England like threads in a tapestry. Crowned queen in 1136, she stood by her husband's side as he claimed the throne, but when the anarchy raged, she didn't cower in silk chambers, she armored her will and raised armies from Kent's salt marshes. Picture her in 1141, husband captured, realm fracturing. While Matilda the Empress demanded crowns in Winchester, Queen Matilda crossed the Channel, rallying barons with letters like arrows, her words steelier than swords. She besieged Dover, starved Dover's rebels into surrender, her fleet slicing the sea to cut Empress Matilda's supplies, her camps alive with the clatter of forges and the low chants of loyal men. "I will not yield," she might have whispered to her scribes, her quill dipping in ink like a blade in blood, negotiating truces that freed Stephen from chains. Her piety shone too, founding hospitals, endowing abbeys, her hands collused not from battle, but from prayer beads worn smooth. When death claimed her in 1152, Heddingham's bells tolled for a warrior queen whose shadow loomed large, her son's future Eustace and William carrying her fire into the fray. In the anarchy's roar, she was the calm eye, proving that a queen's true scepter is not gold, but grit. But as one war's embers cool, another ignites centuries later, in the smoke of religious fires, where a Tudor rose blooms red with resolve. Fast forward to 1516, in Greenwich's royal cradle, where Mary Tudor enters the world-first child of Henry VIII and Catherine of Aragon, a princess destined for pain and power. Her early years sparkle like a summer dawn. Educated in Latin, French, Spanish, her needlework rivaling nuns, her mind sharp as a Toledo blade, playing virginals and lute with a grace that charmed courts. But shadows creep with her father's obsessions. Henry's quest for a son annuls her mother's marriage in 1533, declaring Mary illegitimate, a bastard bartered like chattel to European princes. Demoted to lady-in-waiting, she clings to her Catholic faith like a lifeline, refusing her father's supremacy over the church, enduring house arrest and heartbreak, her letters to Catherine tear-stained pleas across forbidden miles. Edward VI's Protestant reign deepens the divide, but when he dies in 1553, Mary's moment dawns popular, pious, she rallies thousands, toppling the 9-day Queen Jane Grey. Riding into London amid roaring crowds, the first undisputed queen, regnant of England. Crowned in Westminster, her scepter gleams, but her heart burns for Rome, restoring Catholicism, pardoning rebels, marrying Philip of Spain in 1554, a union of crowns and crosses that sparks hope in her soul. Yet, the flames she kindles turn against her. Heresy trials blaze. 280 souls, men, women, even children burn at Smithfield, their cries haunting the Thames, earning her the cruel tag, Bloody Mary. Was it fanaticism or fear? England torn between faiths, plots whispering in shadows. Wyatt's rebellion poisoned rumors of Philip's flight. Her phantom pregnancies twist the knife, hopes of heirs dashed, belly swelling with grief, her mirror reflecting a face lined by loss. By 1558, as Calais falls to France, her last boast lost, Mary dies at 42, whispering of her sister Elizabeth, the Protestant dawn she dreaded. Her reign, a 5-year storm of zeal and sorrow, paves the path for glory's light. And from those ashes rises a sister, a son to her sister's eclipse, igniting an age that would dazzle the world. Elizabeth Tudor, born in 1533 to Anne Boleyn's bold shadow, inherits a throne stained by her mother's blood, declared illegitimate yet unbowed. Tower imprisoned under Mary, her neck braced for the axe, she emerges in 1558 at 25, hair like burnished copper, eyes like polished jet. Her voice a clarion call. It is the Lord's doing, and it is marvelous in our eyes. The Virgin Queen, she dubs herself wed to England, her body the realms, her mind a forge of policy and poetry. No husband chains her, suitors from France to Sweden kneel in vain, her heart a locked garden where only duty blooms. Her reign, the Elizabethan age, bursts like a comet. Shakespeare's quill dances and globes roar, Drake's sails slice Spanish gold from the sea. The Armada scatters in 1588 like leaves in a gale. Beacons blazing victory from Lizard to Berwick. I know I have the body but of a weak and feeble woman, but I have the heart and stomach of a king. She thunders at Tilbury, troops cheering as Philip's invasion dreams drown in storms divine. Plague stalks London, poverty gnaws the poor, but her progresses dazzle countryside. Her portraits, Armada portrait, rainbow in hand proclaim peace and power. Plots swirl, Mary Queen of Scots' shadow. Babington's letters, her cousin's head rolls in 1587, but Elizabeth navigates with Walsingham's spies, her counsel a web of loyalty. The arts flourish. Spenser's Fairy Queen sings her glory. Raleigh's cloak shields her puddle, a court where wit wars with wonder. By 1603, Whitelade masks her wrinkles, her golden speech bids farewell. Though God has raised me high, yet this I count the glory of my crown, that I have reigned with your loves. She dies childless, her legacy a Protestant realm, an empire's seed, an age of gold that gilds England's name forever. From Elizabeth's radiant close, time leaps to Stuart silks, where a queen of quiet sorrows forges a kingdom from divided crowns. Anne Stuart, born 1,665 inches, a court of exiles, last of the Stuarts, inherits in 1702 a land split by seas and sects. Her childhood scarred by smallpox, her pregnancies 17 in all, a litany of loss. Only one child, William, surviving infancy before fever claims him at 11. Gout twists her steps, yet she rises, pious and resolute, her faith a Protestant bulwark against her father's Catholic fall. Wed to George of Denmark, a gentle consort, she navigates Marlborough's wars, Blenheim's triumph in 1704, a blaze of British bayonets against French fury. But her masterstroke? The Act of Union 1707, weaving England and Scotland into Great Britain's cloth, parliaments merging in Westminster's halls, the thistle and rose entwined at last. Very necessary, she declares in her first speech, her voice steady as the new Union Jack flies. Parties clash, Whigs for war, Tories for peace, but Anne balances her court a salon of Sarah Churchill's wit and Swift's satire. Gibraltar falls to British guns in 1704, a toehold in the Mediterranean sun. The War of Spanish Succession grinds on, her generals carving colonies from chaos. Health fails, eyesight dims, but she endures, dismissing Marlborough in 1711 for ambition's overreach, her final years a haze of pain and protocol. In 1714, at 49, she slips away. The Hanoverian George waiting across the sea, her legacy a united Britain, an empire's foundation stone. Anne's tale, a soft sigh amid Stuart storms, bridges old realms into new, her quiet crown the keystone of a kingdom reborn. And as Stuart flames flicker out, a Hanoverian dawn breaks, where a girl queen steps from seclusion to steer an industrial age. Victoria, born 1,819 inches, Kensington's shadowed palace, only child of Edward, Duke of Kent, wakes on the 20th of June 1837 to a knock. "Your Majesty," her mother whispers, and at 18, the crown is hers. Sheltered by Lezin's iron rule, her diaries burst with girlish glee. "I was awoke at 6 o'clock, and I am sure I felt calm, but power surges like the Thames at flood." Melbourne mentors her. Whig warmth thawing her chill upbringing, her first council a thrill of velvet and vows. Then, in 1840, Albert of Saxe-Coburg cousin, love light woos her with quiet intellect, their wedding a white silk revolution, her gowns setting fashion's tide. 9 children follow. Osborne's idyll their haven, Albert's hand guiding railways and reforms. The Great Exhibition of 1,851, a crystal paean to progress. But grief's black veil descends in 1861. Albert dies of typhoid, her heart a shattered locket, withdrawing to Balmoral's mists, widow of Windsor, her self-scribed shroud. Public fury swells Mrs. Vic! Cartoons jeer, yet she endures, Disraeli's flattery coaxing her from shadows. Empress of India, in 1877, a balm for empire's wounds. The Victorian age blooms. Factories hum, Darwin dreams, railways ribbon the land, but shadows lurk, Irish famines, opium wars, Zulu spears at Isandlwana. Her Diamond Jubilee in 1897 dazzles colonies parading under one sun, her small frame atop the throne, a colossus of continuity. "We are not interested in the possibilities of defeat," she declares, her voice gravel with age, steel with spirit. In 1901, at Osborne, she fades, her empire vast as her legacy 63 years of change, from candles to kilowatts, a queen who mourned yet marched on. Victoria's echo, a drumbeat of duty and dominion, carries us to the 20th century's calm harbor, where a girl becomes the century's steadfast star. Elizabeth II, born 1,926 inches, Mayfair's hush, Princess of York, till fate's swift stroke. Her uncle's abdication in 1936 crowns her father George VI, making her heir at 10. War's shadow falls. Blitz bombs rattle Buckingham. Young Lilibet broadcasts to evacuees. In the end, all will be well. Her voice a child's thread in the dark. At 21, in Cape Town she pledges, "My whole life, whether long or short, shall be devoted to your service." The 6th of February 1952, in Kenya's trees, word comes, her father gone, she is queen at 25, Philip her rock, their union a bulwark against change's tide. Coronation in 1953, televised to millions, her gown a bloom of stars, oaths echoing Westminster's stones, is less than #0. 3. Decolonization dawns India free in 47, but her Commonwealth binds realms in voluntary vows. Ghana's cheers in 59, her hand extended. Scandals swirl Profumo Diana's tragedy, but she steadies. "I declare before you all that my whole life shall be devoted to your service." Her 1,953 vow, renewed in every crisis. Longest reign 70 years by 2022, surpassing Victoria's 63, her Platinum Jubilee, a rainbow of realms, corgis at heel, her smile a constant amid Brexit's storms and Charles's ascent. "Grief is the price we pay for love," she says in 2021, Philip's loss a private ache, her public poise unbroken. She dies in 2022 at 96. Balmoral's peace, her final bow, her legacy, a thread of stability in a spinning world. From Elizabeth's enduring light, our tale touches the present, where a queen consort steps from controversy's shade into duty's dawn. Camilla, born 1,947 inches, London's gentle reign, Duchess of Cornwall till 2022's turn, becomes queen consort now, simply queen beside Charles III, her path from scandal to steadfastness, a modern miracle. Once vilified as the other woman, her love with Charles, a tabloid tempest, she endures, raising Tom and Laura with quiet grace, her horses and hounds her solace. Wed in 2005's civil hush, she whispers vows anew, her role evolving from shadow to support, patron of literacy and osteoporosis, her hands planting gardens of hope. Coronation in 2023. Westminster's bells peal for her tiara a nod to tradition, her work against domestic abuse a shield for the unseen. I would vote for Camilla. Polls shift by 2022, her warmth winning hearts, her queen's companions, a fresh twist on ladies-in-waiting. As Vice Admiral in 2025, she salutes the seas, her future as Dowager a question for William's reign, but her now, a bridge of resilience, proving love's long road leads to legacy. Now, as our royal river winds to shore, let's linger on these luminous lives from Matilda's defiant spark to Camilla's steady flame, queens who bent history's arc with will and wisdom. They've faced betrayals that could crush stone, losses that hollow the heart, Yet each rose, reshaping England from anarchy to empire, faith to flourishing. In their stories, we find not just crowns, but courage, the quiet kind that mends a fractured land, the bold that scatters armadas, the enduring that spans 70 years. They remind us power isn't in scepters, but in service. Legacy not in heirs, but in hope sown for those who follow. So here's my gentle charge, dear listener. Wear your own invisible crown today. Stand tall in small storms. Love fiercely through the long nights. There's boundless light in that endless as England's green and pleasant land. Thank you for crowning this episode with your time on Crowns of Legacy. Share your favorite Queen's Whisper in the comments. Your voice adds to the chorus. Until next time, reign kindly, dream royally, and keep the faith. This is Lydia Hawthorne, bidding you adieu with a curtsy.